coaches and pros, the X's and O's. This is the best. When we do what we know, so let's go. Yo, 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 what's up with it, everybody? What's cracking? What is cracking early on a Sunday? We about to recap some of these games, man. Because I was wrong. We was wrong on a few of those picks. We was wrong on a few picks. I ain't gonna lie, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, there was a lot of craziness that went on in college football yesterday. You must admit, it was crazy out there yesterday, man. And look, quiet as kept. If you watch the show, not even quiet as kept, because obviously, if you was keeping up with your boy, then you would know that called that Rice and Navy game. Did I call that? I said that. I said, yo, I'm saying it right here. Rice can beat Navy. And that's exactly what they went out and did. Now, I know we wrong. And my upset of the day pick was, what was my upset of the day pick, Shad? I think it was South Carolina and Texas A&M. That was my upset game to yesterday. That was my upset of yesterday. And it happened. And also, when I would ask the question, who was most likely, what undefeated team was most likely to be upset yesterday, Shad picked Iowa State, and that's what happened, which is crazy because, like, it's not like we know these certain things that's going down, right? We just evaluate the teams. We know the teams playing. We know how they're performing now, which teams are progressing, which teams are declining. You know what I'm saying? And it seemed like, it almost seemed like that 10. I said, dang, man. I said, they really lost. I said, dang, they lost. And South Carolina looked real good last night. Like, that offense looked really good yesterday. I must say that. That offense in South Carolina looked really good yesterday. Um, they played Texas A&M almost like they knew they were going to win that game. Like, they knew they were going to win that game. And I guess, you know what I'm saying? I guess it's true when you say certain styles of teams, they make the good game. They make the games good. And Louisville wind up beating Clemson yesterday. What are, like, y'all, like, this AO? Oh my goodness, man. We said that. What's up, Katie? What's going on? Salute to you, Katie. I appreciate you coming in and kicking it. You always show love and support to everybody up out here. So I appreciate you for doing that, man, because you support a lot of us out here, and I appreciate that. Like, we've been seeing this week in and week out in college football. Week in and week out, we have seen teams lose games that maybe shouldn't have lost, or maybe that you just didn't know this team could beat this team. And it pisses a lot of people off that's been around watching college football for years, because they're not used to seeing these teams lose in this dramatic fashion. Yes, 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 Katie. Well, to me, it wasn't, because you couldn't stay for the whole show yesterday, Katie. So for me, it wasn't a shocker, because that was my upset game yesterday when me and Shad picked. I actually picked South Carolina to beat A&M yesterday for my upset game of yesterday. You know what I mean? And I think he went with Iowa State losing to Texas Tech yesterday. And it's crazy because we're seeing this every week. And now in the SEC, we're looking at the SEC. I think Texas A&M they lost 2 conference games, which I think Georgia goes back up to being number 1. I think I'll take a look at the standings here in a second. But if I'm not mistaken, Georgia goes back to being number 1. Let me pull that up real quick while I'm on here. Y'all know this is real. We don't fake nothing. Sometimes I don't have certain things ready. Um, and I should. Excuse me. Oh shit. Ooh. Ooh. Sneezing. I don't know what that was. Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know what that was. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna take a look at the ACC real quick. Let's see. I'm gonna get it pulled up because I got the tabs already pulled up. I just want to take a look at it. I'm just like Googling it real quick. I just like, took the Google standings. Yeah, so that's it right there, y'all. So Georgia is number one. You said you like supporting good people. Thank you. Thank you, Katie. I appreciate you. I do. So Georgia does go back up to being number one right now in the conference, as you can see with the standings the way they are right now. And it's almost came to fruition that I said that the SEC winner of the SEC may have two losses. I don't know if that's gonna happen still, you know what I mean? But we talked about this in the off season how we didn't think that whoever was going to win the national championship this year was not going to be undefeated. We talked about that because of the transfer portal and how these teams gotten better all across the board in different ways. And right now, you can look at the SEC, and I can almost guarantee you look at the top 6 teams in the SEC right now as it look: Georgia, Texas A&M, Texas, Tennessee, LSU, and Ole Miss. You can honestly say, I don't think you could say, and I think it's fair to say that any one of those 6 teams can win the SEC. Any one of those 6 teams, and I'll even go as far as putting Alabama in there, because if we could see the Alabama team, the Kellen DeBoer team that played Georgia, because that's where Georgia's one loss came from, is Alabama. And right now, they're 7th in the SEC right now. In the SEC, they're 7th place in the SEC right now as it stands, and they're the one person who took down the top dog in Georgia. So if we can see that Alabama team show up and play football through, you know what I mean? Any one of those teams, those top 7 teams in the SEC can win. And hold up, I'm not even going to say that, because if we go down to Vanderbilt, Vanderbilt beat Alabama. So like like you gotta love college football and what it is this year. Because you can look like we can go down. The SEC is just up for grabs, right? Period. Period. Let's just call it what it is. Let's just call it what the fuck it is. Excuse my language. Let's just call it what it is right now. Like, it is up for grabs. Florida let go of a stranglehold that they had on Georgia yesterday. Penn State let go of a stranglehold that they had on Ohio State yesterday. Penn State should not have ever let Ohio State climb back up in the game after being down 10-0 on that defense. That defense should not have collapsed. That defense got comfortable yesterday, and Ohio State capitalized off that, right? That's what Chip does, though. That's what he's over there for in Ohio State, to make things happen with the players that he has. $20 million roster they got over there in Ohio State. And you look at the way that South Carolina played defense yesterday on Texas A&M, they played shut down. Now, granted, Moss was out. Yeah, their big running back Moss was out. And that, I guess that goes to show how significant one loss can be to an offense in college football. You know what I mean? On some of these rosters. And the way that it is now, with the transfer portal being the way that it is, you don't have another 5-star running back at Texas A&M to throw back there and say, we don't miss a beat. But although the young man who they put back there, he still wound up broke for a big run, and he had some runs in the game, but he wound up getting stopped on like a 4th and 1 or something like that. And they played good. It was a good battle, I thought. But South Carolina's defense looks damn good. That's like, it's crazy to say that they're the most consistent when they're sitting at 5-3. So like, it's like I'm almost discrediting saying that if I were to say that they're the most consistent defense, but they are a very good defense that shows up every week. Now that offense cannot move the ball. You know what I mean? I think some of their losses goes on the offense. Like, for instance, when they did play Alabama, or who was it, Georgia or Alabama? I can't remember. Was it whoever it was, one of their losses? I think it was Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. They had the ball. The offense had the ball with 40-something seconds left in the game, and Lenore Sellers threw an interception, which the game was over with. So, you know what I mean? When I'm looking at things like that, like that's just what it is. the SEC to me is up for grabs. And I think that's something that maybe we could discuss. I did put the link down there. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm using a new platform, Restream, and the reason being, as y'all seen, I had a lot of difficulties with StreamYard, and they were knocking people off the platform. Couldn't get Zion on the platform. I couldn't get, you know what I mean? That they were shutting down my shows. All kinds of weird ish was happening with that. But I think this has worked the same way. I'm still allowed to have 10 participants show up in the room with me. After that 10, I don't think you can invite anymore, but it still works the same exact way as that. I honestly like this a little better. Um, it's not as easy as StreamYard. You got to do a lot more producing on the side of this one, but it's still the same thing. So, but I'm gonna keep it going anyway. But like I'm saying though, you look at South Carolina, they're very good. So I think they could take down, and they're playing spoiler at the moment. Right now, and they're just trying to climb back up into this, and they're just playing spoiler. When you look at South Carolina's remaining schedule, they have Vanderbilt, Missouri, and Clemson left on their schedule. So they really don't get a chance to beat anybody else good besides Texas A&M. So that was a good win for South Carolina. Um, let's take a look at Alabama's remaining schedule. Alabama's remaining schedule, they have LSU, Oklahoma, and Auburn. So they actually don't play anybody of significance besides LSU. But if Alabama wins this LSU game, that takes LSU down and Alabama moves up. Ole Miss also moves up. Now, Ole Miss, they got to beat Georgia. They got to beat Georgia next week. They got to beat Georgia. If Ole Miss beats Georgia, if they beat Georgia, that shakes up the whole SEC once again. But I think that makes Texas A&M climb back up to the number 1 seed in the SEC. And then Texas A&M from here on out, they got Texas at the end of the year. They end off with Texas. So one of those guys one of these two teams has to win. Tennessee from here on out. Let's see what Tennessee has. Tennessee has Vanderbilt left, and they do have Georgia. Damn, they got Mississippi State next, but then they do have Georgia. So one of those guys got to win this game. Georgia got a tough ass road. Georgia's road to get there to the college football playoff just became a lot harder than what it is. The SEC is exciting football right now. It's very exciting football in the SEC. They're actually playing each other the way that it's shaping out, and I like the way that that's looking in the SEC right now. But I'm gonna keep looking at some different games, and I'm gonna talk about some other shit. You know what I'm saying? Some other games that's going on right now. All right. I like the yeah, so I like everything that's popping in college football. How could you not? How could you not like everything that's going on in the SEC right now? How could you not like that? The way that it's shaping up and everything. You have to like this football. It means something. Like it means something. All right. UConn, we talked about these games. UConn beating them. Ohio State taking down Penn State. That was a big win for Ohio State. Um, I don't think that that loss for James Franklin is a big loss. I do I do think that Penn State I don't think that they should have let Ohio State climb back in the game. I thought that offensive coordinator played that game kind of conservative, like we're afraid to go after Ohio State, and I think that may have lost them the game. Like you got to call that shit, man. Like you know what I mean? Like you got to go ahead and call that game. Um, they did a good job with Abdul Carter in that defensive line. Ohio State did. They got backups, and that got me wondering now. Like now I'm seeing like neither one of those teams can beat Oregon if I'm looking at it now because, and I say this because Ohio State has a guard that moved to tackle. Now, I'm not saying that that's a huge jump in college football, but when you're such a high profile defensive end like Abdul Carter, you're supposed to be able to handle somebody who's a guard and moving over to tackle. They got backup tackles in the game for Ohio State. They didn't miss a beat. Now that's why in college football you want to make sure that if you're going to have abundance of 4 stars and 5 stars, I would want it on the offense and defensive lines. You know what I mean? I could put anybody behind those guys pretty much and make it work. But as long as I got a good offensive defensive line, I'll be okay, right? I get my bigs up front. And I think they did a good job with that, but they really didn't scheme him open. He was in the inside, and they just did a real good job with doing that. But when you going up against a backup Abdul Carter, you gotta hit home. You gotta hit home, man. And it was disappointing to see them not being able to get the pressure they should have got on Howard. And also the fact that that offense was like conservative. They played scared. Like that's not the way that it is. Like they schemed 44 open so much. Um, and it just didn't seem right. And I don't know if, and I'm not trying to give them no excuses or nothing, but I don't know if you come back from injury, you should be able to play the game. And y'all was already one up on Ohio State because they had to prepare for both quarterbacks. So I do want to give props to Ohio State and Ryan Day having that team prepared because they didn't know up until game time which quarterback they was going to face. Was it going to be Drew Aller or the backup number 9? Like they didn't know. So they had to prepare for two different quarterbacks, two different play styles. Like pretty much. And then when you're running number 9, you're running a lot of RPO, run pass option. And then when you got Drew Aller, you can also have the RPO in there, but it's more simple sets, simple personnel, simple formations, and but when you got 9 in there, it's the RPO. And I think sometimes the RPO can be hard to defend when you got a quarterback like him. And if he was able to come back and beat Wisconsin and the way they were resilient. If Drew Aller was not 100%, he shouldn't have been in the game. That's no excuse for Penn State because if you come back, you should be ready to get the job done. And they just wasn't able to get the job done yesterday, which is crazy to me. And shout out to them, man, for getting the job done because they definitely got the job done yesterday. And I like the fact that they did. So, that's not taking nothing from them. Moving on to the next game. I think I got it pulled up. Yeah, I got move on to the next ones that I was talking about. Duke and Miami. So yesterday, it was a 20.5 point spread that I thought that for Duke was great. I thought it was great for Duke. You know what I'm saying? The Duke and Miami game. I'm like, Miami is favored by 20 points against Duke. Shout out to Miami for getting the job done. Shout out to them. Hurricanes fans rejoice. Miami offense is a high-powered ass offense. Cam Ward back there makes that offense go. Not only do you got to worry about Cam Ward, but Miami can run the rock too if they wanted to. I honestly believe that if it came down to a brawling type of game, I think that Miami could get it done. Hey, it may sound crazy to me. I don't have no dog in this fight. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of Hurricane supporters, but I don't have a dog in this fight. And when I'm looking at that Miami Hurricanes team, and when they're running Fletcher Jr. and Damian Martinez, and they got Arroyo and McCormick, and man, like they can play big boy ball with the best of them. They can do it. If it came down to that, Miami can line up in a 2 tight end set and in a 12 personnel set or 22 personnel set and pound the rock, throw the ball out of there. They can beat you that way. They can. Miami can beat you that way. And that's what makes them a dangerous team. Now, to say that, if anybody want to say that Miami hasn't faced adversity, you a damn lie. You a damn lie. Do not sit here and fool yourself as a college football team and say Miami has not faced adversity. They have come back in 3 games so far on national TV. They have showed you that they are a resilient team. They don't panic. They're very professional. They have culture there. The Miami Hurricanes is a dangerous fucking football team. They are. And you got to just give it to them. They are a dangerous football team out there. Do I think that anybody in college football can take Miami down? And no, I don't. I just don't. I would love to see Miami Hurricanes hoist the national championship trophy. I would love to see that. It's one game at a time with this team, of course, but the way that they came back with Duke, the way that they came back in this Duke game, and Duke's defense to score 53 points on that Duke defense is good. Now, Miami's defense is giving up some points, but at the same time, it's like they're coming back in these games. And they do have a true freshman as a cornerback. No excuse. He's out there. He won a job, but they got some holes to fix. They got some holes to fix, and it seems like they're getting better. But to come back like that, and for Restrepo not to be one of the best receivers in college football, not to be talked about, to me, like, I obviously talked about him. I've been high on Restrepo since the offseason, but he is, to me, the best all-round, well-rounded receiver in college football. He'll beat you with the speed. He'll beat you speed-wise because he's not slow. So he's a deep threat if he wanted to be. He's a great position guy, a possession guy. If when he needs to be, he can do everything. He can do everything. He's just not like a Trey Harris type of big body possession receiver type of guy, back shoulder fade type of guy. No, he's somebody who will go low, catch the low one, curl up. He's somebody who can get the ball, make a play. He's always making plays, and he's really good. And Cam Ward knows that he's unguardable. He has one unguardable receiver. All the rest of those receivers, Young Horton and the tight ends, they have stepped up. And Miami's very dangerous. So shout out to the Hurricanes fans out there. Y'all belt the ass to Duke. Y'all passed the controller on them. I thought that would have been a great bet. Shout out to I don't give a damn, because he came in the chat yesterday and said, Trucking, that's not a good bet. And I said, 20 points? 20 points? You giving Duke 20 points against Miami? Now, I know Miami's good as shit, but Duke's defense, but Malik Murphy, he choked. He choked. He did. He choked. He gave that game away. It definitely wasn't a good game. You said Miami looked beat. Trucking, Miami looked beat, and Cam happened. Any other quarterback, Cam would have been sacked a dozen times. Duke was bringing it. They definitely was. The Duke defense was, but he fucking lost. You said, I love to see Ole Miss versus Miami. I would love it too. Because I took Ole Miss to win. I did, Katie. I took Ole Miss to win the SEC, but it don't look like that going to happen right now. The way that it's sitting. Excuse me. Ole Miss belt to ass on Arkansas. They absolutely destroyed Arkansas yesterday. I mean, look, when you putting 50, 63 points on the team this late in the season, dog, and you against division opponents, that is a sign of a good football team. I don't care with nobody. That's a sign of a good football team. Ole Miss should have been doing this. That Ole Miss team should have been doing this to teams. I don't think that Arkansas is a trash program at all. I do think that Arkansas has a good program, and they have something good to build off of. That what's going on over there in Arkansas. But man, Jackson Dart made a big case for what he's trying to get done. I don't think at this point in the season, as far as Heisman goes, Cam Ward has to be number one. He has to be number one. And then you got to put Genty behind him. I understand a lot of people saying Shedeur Sanders lost games, so he shouldn't be in the conversation, but he is a good ball spinner. And so is Jackson Dart, and he's showing that. But Cam Ward, hands down, right now is the favorite. His team's undefeated. He showed that he is the man in Miami. So the Heisman, as long as Miami went out, and I don't even think that's it. That's his. That's Cam Ward's trophy to take home or to lose right now at this point, in my opinion. Moving on, but talking about, I only brought up the Heisman conversation because of Jackson Dart and what Jackson Dart was able to do in this game. Man, Arkansas, I think Ole Miss should have been doing this to people, man. They should have just been doing this. That team, you got to defend that team in multiple ways. They're another one of those offenses that can go to multiple different sets and formations and kill you and get the job done. So they should have been doing this. I'm happy to see them get it together this late, because the SEC very well still could be in their hands if they win out. They got to beat Georgia. Ole Miss has to beat Georgia because Georgia has to play a tough Tennessee team, and that may knock Tennessee down, or Tennessee may beat Georgia. Georgia got a tough, they probably got the toughest schedule left. You know what I mean? We thought that Florida was going to have one. Florida does, but so don't Georgia, the way it's facing up right now. Texas still got Texas A&M left. That's going to be a rumble. We seen that going on. But man, some exciting football in the SEC right now. It's shaping up just to be what they wanted it to be, the storyline, right? I like what Ole Miss is doing, though. Shout out to them. Army struggled with Air Force. Not a good showing. Not a good showing. No, these teams can't beat Notre Dame. Hell no. Excuse my language. Hell no, they can't beat Notre Dame. They're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. Don't even sit there and think that this going to happen. I wouldn't say it again. I thought about it, but I'm not going to say it no more. It's not going to fucking happen. No, it's not. Army struggled with Air Force bad yesterday. Exposed their whole offense. How they are 8-0 and 6-0 right now in the AC, in the American Athletic Conference, give it to them. They're undefeated right now. But a number 21 team, that's why they're ranked number 21 at being undefeated. They don't deserve to be ranked in my eyes. Shout out to the Army and Navy. I want to thank those guys, Army, Air Force, and Navy, for your service. I appreciate you. I really do. But it ain't gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. They're not gonna beat Notre Dame. I thought maybe it may happen, but nah, they ain't gonna no. Struggle with Air Force. I didn't like that game at all. They should have covered that spread. They should have covered the over on that game tremendously, or it could have been some kind of respect type of thing, since they were playing Air Force where they didn't want to blow them out that bad. But after that, it's football. I don't know. I'm just saying, got to be something, because that offense, that quarterback should not. They have struggled like that in that game. There's no way that they should have struggled. And I'll answer a couple of questions in the chat. You said motivated, dedicated. What's up, bro? What's going on? UGA will continue to win despite their injuries. I like that. The dogs are deep enough to keep on winning. I hope so. Motivated, dedicated. I hope that they are. I really hope that happens, and that they're able to keep winning. But they got some tough teams, and Georgia can be beat. The SEC is up for grabs. It's up for grabs. Let's just call it what it is. Like any one of those teams, the top 6 teams, can win the SEC with the help of Vanderbilt, with the help of South Carolina taking out Texas A&M yesterday. Georgia still has Tennessee. We just looked at that. They still got Tennessee and Ole Miss. Both of those teams can beat Georgia, in my opinion. Now, the way what it seems to be Tennessee, how did they get this far? I really don't know, because they're not. They got to be the D. The D is good, but that offense is like it leaves me with question marks. Like, why are they not moving the ball much more effectively than I think they can? Georgia is a good team. They have a lot of veteran players. They want it more. They may want it more, but they got to get through this gauntlet of these last couple games. They got like a Tennessee, Ole Miss, and I think that's pretty much it. But they got those two top couple teams in the SEC, and they got to get past them. They got to get past those guys. All right. Ole Miss can bring a pass rush too. Trekking. Last week they had 10 sacks. That's what I'm saying. KD. They got a gauntlet. Georgia they got to play ball. The SEC is giving us some good ball right now, and they're going to give us a lot of great ones. So you know how that go and everything. I've dropped the link a couple times. I don't know if it's working for other people or not. I'm not getting nobody up in here right now, so I don't know if it is, but I'll copy it again, paste it again for y'all. Hold on, let me paste, let me get it down there, and so that y'all get it. Just hit that link if you would like to join in on the conversation. College football today. Get to talk on some of these NFL scores, but I'm gonna keep it moving up until then. So Minnesota and Illinois. I took Illinois yesterday, and I knew better, kinda. I'm like, man, Ag, Illinois, they looking good, but Minnesota and PJ Fleck have PJ Fleck out that team playing balls of the wall, man. And look, they looking tough. They are looking tough. Illinois, knock Illinois out. I think somebody just popped up in here, if I'm not mistaken. I heard it. Who's that? Hey, my man Lawrence with a U. What up with it, bruh?
What's going on?
Shit, bro. How you feeling?
Feeling good, feeling good. Doing good. Some interesting football games yesterday. A lot of going on in the football world. Uh,
What? Talk about it. Let's talk about it, bro.
all conferences here, the SEC, the Big 12, Big 10, and then obviously, uh, with me being a Michigan native, lots going on here around the University of Michigan as well. Not such a great showing yesterday against the number one team. They went into that game pretty injured, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. But they had their best receiver out as well. Oregon took them down 38-17. But I guess the bigger story, most would agree, the bigger story was who they had visiting and what's going on in the recruiting world. They're pretty much looking towards next year to improve that roster
So,
dramatically, so to speak. So
so who was showing up? Who showed up yesterday for Michigan?
the biggest name, Bryce Underwood. Uh, it appears that Michigan is now back in the Bryce Underwood sweepstakes. We know that's the number one player, number one quarterback in the 25 class, currently committed to LSU. Um, hadn't taken any visits since his commitment last December, and that's including Michigan, which he only resides 20 miles, 20 minutes away from campus. Had a 707 game there in the late summer, but aside from that, hadn't visited the campus. Pretty much shut down his recruitment and played most of his games this year wearing LSU cleats, LSU backplate.
Okay.
Wearing LSU paraphernalia in school and everything like that. But in a recent turn of events, Michigan is trying to flip him, and it's a good possibility that it can happen. That they
Oh, yo,
flip him from
yeah. So
LSU. So he was definitely one of the main guy, main
yeah.
recruit. But they have some other receivers there, some other skill positions there. A couple people that are already committed for the 25 and 26 class were there, but notably, obviously, was Bryce Underwood and another receiver currently committed to LSU, Derek Meadows. Those were the two
Okay.
notable recruits that were definitely on campus yesterday for that game.
All right. Okay. Hey, and so so yesterday I was trying to defend Michigan yesterday a little bit, and I didn't know too much what I was talking about. So I'm glad you popped up here, right?
Sure.
So to tell the viewers a little bit about like as quick as like I don't know, kind of briefly discuss the admissions problem that Michigan's having with getting some top recruits there.
Oh, absolutely. I could definitely speak on that. Yeah.
All right.
So, um, two things. And we can actually look at not even just the football team, but what recently happened with Juwan Howard being fired.
Mm-hmm.
So that was because it actually, it was a problem with the guys that Juwan Howard was trying to bring in. He did initially inherit a talented roster with some pros on there, but as he, tried to get his guys in there and recruit, there were two things. Number one, admissions. So if we go back to when Coach Prime was hired at Colorado, uh, we also can see that they relaxed the admissions so that they can take incoming transfers from
Mm-hmm.
multiple universities. That's a big thing, especially with the last year and both this year, Colorado loading up on a bunch of transfer portal players. Well, as far
Right.
as University of Michigan is concerned, their academic standards hasn't been relaxed to accept transfer players, particularly for basketball, football teams whose schools, where they may major in something that doesn't quite translate to the University of Michigan. So that's still a problem that
Right.
hasn't been resolved. It showed itself because there were a lot of guys that Juwan Howard tried to get to transfer in to help his basketball team out and continue that momentum that he was admissions essentially blocked them. And that also happened on the football field. with Jim Harbaugh. So that's one of the barriers to Michigan being one of the top portal schools, compared to the other schools out there, is that their admissions uh, has blocked the transfer of a
So
lot of
what if
these.
one was to say, okay, now what if one was to say that the emissions and you can't use that excuse as a Michigan person, because Chad did bring up a good point. I thought when you see a team like Texas that has the same thing, and Malik Murphy going over to Duke, like, would you say that they lax theirs? Because that's what I said. In defense of Michigan, I was like, well, I think that they may have laxed theirs a little bit, like their emissions, because of the way that this college football is going, like, accepting the players in
Right.
there. And Michigan is still uptight with their admissions and wanting to keep their academic standard.
They are still uptight with their admissions.
Okay.
And it's funny you bring up Malik Murphy because he was definitely a target in the last transfer portal cycle. Rather, he was definitely a target. They wanted Malik Murphy. They wanted Malik Murphy because he's a highly intelligent individual. So that's why he chose Duke, because he actually want to, pursue their academics. I think he's an engineering student.
Okay.
So it wouldn't have been a problem to get Malik Murphy. He just actually chose Duke because that's where he wanted to go. But Michigan had him on the radar because they knew to get him, they would not have to relax the academic requirements.
Right.
And that's only one half of it. So the second half is the NIL. So everybody think, oh, University of Michigan got all this money, boosters, alumni, blah, 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 which is true. However, they have been late to the NIL game and establishing collectives and actually supporting the idea of paying particularly underclass players. Now, you get a little bit, how they have approached it up until this season is you get a little more, they loosen the rope, so to speak, as you become an upperclassman, a junior and senior. They allow some of those NIL deals.
Right.
But as an underclassman, particularly like a high school recruit, like a Bryce Underwood or any other top high school players, they were very stingy with the NIL, pretty much not allowing it at all. Didn't want to throw them the bag, so to speak, to get the player to commit. So that's why if you look at Michigan's recruiting class over the last 5 seasons, and this goes back to Harbaugh's classes as well, they were still trying to sell the university and the brand, the Michigan brand, as the sole selling point to get these guys. Now they did put together the right formula last season to win a national title, but now that Harbaugh is gone and he took all his coordinators and Sherrod Moore has the job, in order for him to be successful, that isn't going to work, or he's going to wind up just like Juwan Howard did, out in a couple seasons, not being able to get that top talent to be competitive in the Big Ten. So this cycle, I will say, they have brought the bag, and experiment number one is Bryce Underwood. So that's what kind of swayed him to consider Michigan, as we approach early signing day, which he does plan to sign in December in the row, wherever he's going to go in January. So we're about a month away from that. Michigan is very heavily in the thick to flip him. I'm not going to say it's a done deal. There are some here in Michigan that have gone that far to say that it is a done deal. It's just a formality at this point. I don't think it's quite there yet, particularly because he had a playoff game on Friday.
Yeah.
Offensive coordinator from LSU, Joe Sloan, attended that playoff game in person. If you ask the LSU faithful, they're like, oh, yeah, he would have been committed to Michigan if that was the case. He hasn't visited the campus in over a year, where he was just on campus yesterday. So I think it's honestly 50-50. He will be in Baton Rouge on Saturday for LSU's matchup against Alabama.
Yep.
So, I think it could go either way. Michigan is going to have the advantage of him having to return to the state of Michigan.
All right.
And they can go, they'll have that FaceTime where, LSU is going to have to fly their offensive coordinator out. They're going to Brian Kelly is probably going to fly out here in order for that to be, make a viable play and keep them on fold. And then on top of that, with the fact that Michigan has already said it doesn't matter what NIL package LSU puts together, they will beat it.
Okay, because you're like,
So,
I like you are officially my Michigan guy. Like all information Michigan, I got to turn to Lawrence with a U. We got to exchange information because you are officially, without a doubt, Truck and Chubby Sports, the Michigan guy, the Michigan insider, right?
absolutely.
Like so, like we got to get that information from you, Lawrence with a U. But like so. You got me hyped up on Michigan before, man. I hope that everything is going as planned with Michigan. I want to see Sharon Moore be successful in that program. I really do. I like what they did with taking the very smart 3 stars they had and turning them into all-American football players,
Yep.
getting 18 draft picks out there. So I
Yep.
like what Michigan does. They're good at that. They're very good at that. Can I ask you a question about Colorado? You mind?
Yeah, sure. For
All
sure.
right. So what right now? So with Kansas State losing to Houston yesterday, right? They lost to Houston. So now Colorado moves up into 3rd place, and
Yep.
Iowa State just took a L to Texas Tech,
Yep.
right? Are you now looking at Colorado as being a winner in the Big 12?
It's a possibility, but I mean, I just look at it like this: they got to control what they can control and win out. They can't worry about other teams losing. Win out, do what you can, and get the best bowl you can. Whether that means a conference title, whether that means just a really good bowl game. Win out and control what you can control, and
Okay.
that's pretty much all they can do at this point, and not really look at the chaos that's unfolded because we kind of expected that with the Big 12, some teams were going to knock each other out. Nobody was going to be dominated and run the table. So that's their assignment going forward, is to control their controllables, which is winning out, and see what happens from there. Yeah, are there going to be? Do they have a better path to being in that conference title game now? Now that this has happened, yes, they have a better path, but it's still not definite, and they don't play a BYU, a Iowa State, to be able to do anything more. So they just have to control their controllables. They have a pretty good chance, if they stay healthy, to beat the teams that are remaining on the schedule, because they haven't been as good as anticipated. So if they do that, they'll be in good shape, whether that means a conference title or not. Even if they go 10-2 and fall just short of playing for the conference championship and just short of the opportunity to make the college football playoff, that's still a win. But I mean, me for one, I projected 6-6 as a final record. So anything above that to me is overachieving and considered tremendous progress going into next season.
Okay. All right. And right now, so are you looking at that Texas Tech game different with Colorado? This Texas down in Lubbock after that win against Texas, against Iowa State, saying Texas Tech beat Iowa State. Are you looking at that matchup with Colorado a little bit different right now? Do you think that Colorado can beat Texas Tech at this point, or what? What you thinking?
I do think they can beat Texas Tech in Lubbock.
All right.
The formula for Colorado winning, in my opinion, remains the same. To me, they're a front running team, so they need to score quick and play from either the score being them tie or ahead.
Right.
They get in trouble and start to struggle when they get down, 1 or 2 scores and having to come back. So if they can play with the game close or actually play with a lead, I think that's when you see the best version of Colorado, and I think they can do that in Lubbock.
All right, fair enough, man. Hey, that's fair enough. So, so what, you gonna stick around and kick it for a little bit, or what? Like,
yeah,
what
I'm
we
stick
doing?
around. I mean, you got one of the games. It's ironic you showing this Toledo EMU game right here. My parents were EMU, so that's that's their alma mater, and I'm actually closer to that campus than I am Michigan's campus. So that was a tough game. That was the inner, and then my son goes to University of Toledo. So
let's talk about it, because I like to talk college football, and I've been telling people, Lawrence, for the longest right now, that we'll get back on this Colorado topic. Colorado will come back up in the conversation again, but I do want to talk about the MAC and what we've been seeing in all of different conferences. The MAC has been doing that too. There's been some surprise winnings in the MAC and some
Yep.
surprise losses in the MAC this year.
Yep.
You look like you like, damn, like really? Like, Buffalo beating Toledo and then
Yep.
just mixing it up the way that it's been. Western Michigan losing, winning, and then Akron's they've been very competitive this year. You like it's everywhere in the MAC right now. So you fill us in with this Toledo and Eastern Michigan game. Like, what about it?
Eastern Michigan has been playing tough all year. So
yeah,
and so has Toledo. Toledo, obviously, they had the great run last year. So it doesn't surprise me that it was a close game, actually, because Eastern Michigan has been playing tough, even though they have a 5-4 record.
Penny Boone and DeQuan should have stayed in Toledo. Keep going, though.
Yeah, he probably should have stayed, him and Penny Boone, and that record would be a lot better if they both were there. But and both of them are hometown Detroit kids. They both attended Detroit King High School. So that result doesn't surprise me one bit, that it was a close game. But shout out to Toledo for pulling out the victory in Michigan, in Ypsilanti, Michigan. So that was a road game. It's not like Toledo is that far, so it wasn't that much of a road game. Toledo is about 45 minutes away from Ypsilanti, Michigan. But they pulled out the win, and I think Toledo may win out and wind up taking that conference again.
I hope they do, because I got them winning that conference, man, and I got bread on that too, Lawrence. I do. I hope they do, because I took Toledo to take it, and I'm talking before the first game was played. I got Toledo winning the MAC. Like I said, I got Ole Miss taking the SEC. I had Ohio State winning the Big Ten. I had Iowa State winning the Big 12, but I don't know. It's up there. It's just up there right now. So Syracuse and Virginia Tech played yesterday. Syracuse came out top. Shout out to Fran Brown beating Virginia Tech. They needed that win to keep surviving in the ACC yesterday. What was some takeaways in that game that you saw? What were some things in that game that you saw, man? Because I thought it was a good game. I thought Virginia Tech should have had pulled it out, man. But they just didn't. They couldn't get the job done, man. They just couldn't get the job done.
They couldn't get the job done. Virginia Tech went with Colin Schlee, who was at UCLA last year. He played pretty solid. He did play pretty solid, but when Syracuse offense gets rolling, they're tough to stop, and they were playing at home.
Yeah,
Kyle McCord had a decent game, not a great game, but a decent game. I think he went for 280, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. They had a good, lot of production on the ground as well. LaQuint Allen had 3 touchdowns. So and like you said, shout out to Fran Brown for being bowl eligible in just 8 games. Turning that thing around and keeping it rolling up there in Syracuse. They have a bright future, in my opinion.
Yes, they do.
And they'll be formidable in the ACC. Will they, dominate the conference? Probably not, but they're going to be right there in the thick of things, and they're going to be a tough out.
Yes, they are.
Particularly for teams that have to go up there and play in their home dome. So, because that's different, playing a college football game in a dome. That's a different thing, man. So
it is, man. It is. Like, I mean, like I get it, right? I get. I don't understand why people say that you're soft if you want to play in a dome. Like when you make it to the college level, you work so hard to get to that university. Like and in the pros, right? Domes should be what they are, man. Like you look at, they should be in. Like I don't want to sit in a cold ass football game in November. I'm sorry. I don't want to do that. Freeze my ass off watching football. I did it. If I could do it all through Pee-wees in high school, supporting my kid, that's cool. But when they go to college, hell yeah, I would love for them to go to a dome college or a professional team that's in a dome. Like, and I think a lot of players would want to play that. Okay, the elements, whatever, y'all. It don't take away from the sport. The sport is still gonna get played. But I do think that teams with domes, whether it's college or the NFL, have an advantage of getting more players there, especially when you up north. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, for a team like a Syracuse and a Fran Brown, coming from the SEC and want to get, still want to be able to recruit in that area, you take a look at things like weather and stuff like that, and same thing that Coach Prime is having. That could be a potential issue with players coming to Colorado.
Right.
They don't leave that southeastern region for the most part up until they go off to school, and that's why a lot of those recruits stay within that southeastern region, because the weather factors. Like, you want to play in
Right.
nice weather, be able to play in 60, 70, 80-degree weather all season long, and you're not going to get that if you venture off to a Michigan or Oregon. Even though Oregon is doing a phenomenal job in recruiting, but a lot of the northern schools struggle with recruiting and getting those top players from the southeastern part of the United States simply because of the weather. They don't want to play in those cold elements, man.
Right. Look at your Detroit Lions, for instance, playing in the dome. They get
Yeah.
a lot of players there because of that. I mean, the head coach they love him. They love their team and everything. But I think Detroit has gotten better all these years, because we gotta go up to Detroit, but it's cool because we're in the dome. Even though we might have to step outside of that, but Minnesota, Detroit, Indianapolis, they're on to something here. Like, I think that's the new way to do things, man. I honestly do, man. I do think that that's a huge advantage of getting certain players there, man. That matters. That definitely matters, especially when you're a professional. That matters a lot, man. Injuries can happen at any time, but I think there's a higher chance of you pulling a hammy running hard as hell in the snow or in the cold versus doing it in a dome controlled climate type of area. You know what I'm saying? So, to each his own though with that. Katie Allman said SMU is my surprise team this year. Rent Lashley is coaching his ass off. I agree with that. They smacked Pitt up and down yesterday. They really exposed Pitt, and SMU coming over from the American Athletic Conference is going into the ACC and running it the way they have. Oh my goodness. Like, that team is really good. That's a really good football team. Really good football team. Well coached football team. I thought Rent Lashley might even been losing a little bit of that culture and a little bit of handle on that team at times. I have to say that, but yeah, SMU's playing good football. I roll with Pitt because I'm from Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? I'm very biased with that team. The young man that I'm looking forward to seeing on the field, he still hasn't. He's only a freshman right now. I'm hoping to see him next year. Cameron Lindsay from Aliquippa. That's the same place Darrell Revis is from, in the same high school Darrell Revis went to. I can't wait to see Cameron Lindsay on the football field for Pitt. Maybe we'll see him next year. But he was a multi-sport athlete, very athletic middle linebacker, sideline to sideline type of guy. I hope that he's gotten the experience he's getting. But I think Pitt continues to roll, because I was complaining about Pitt recruiting the area more, and they absolutely have locked down and started recruiting more inner city and a little bit outskirts of Pittsburgh in the area. They are locking down the area of Pittsburgh, and I think we're seeing a lot of that happen, man. When you see a lot of these guys, man, they're from Plum or Roadville. They're not from far outside of Pittsburgh. They're in the area and they're making plays. And I think that team is going to get a lot better when you do that, man. We eat, sleep, shit, breathe, nothing but football. That's it. That's all we do out there. They work out and play football. It does not matter. There's nothing else there's not a lot to do up there in Pittsburgh, but that's one thing that they do is play football, and we do it well, period. And you know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of other places. Detroit does the same thing. I had some friends from Detroit when I moved in Atlanta, and they was always on the same thing I was on. Memphis losing to San Antonio, University of Texas San Antonio yesterday was crazy to me. I don't know how, but like I said, we're seeing this all through college football. Upsets. They lose to the Roadrunners 44-36. Vanderbilt continues to keep on rolling with that luck streak. I don't even want to say it's luck at this point. I just think that Vanderbilt's a very good competitive football team program this year. They're 6-3, 3-2 in the SEC. They rolled over Auburn 17-7. Shout out to them. Old Dominion, they choked against Appalachian State, but shout out to Appalachian State being at home, beating them 28-20. UAB beat Tulsa. They were the favorite in that game too, 59-21. That's crazy to me. The Oregon Ducks took care of Michigan Big Blue 38-17 in the big house. That was
let's
crazy.
let's go back to that. So another thing worth noting on this Oregon Michigan game, as far as the recruiting standpoint, and this is kind of tying it to CU. So there's a current CU commit, Alex Graham. He's a Detroit kid. He's currently playing at Detroit Cass Tech, which is the high school I attended. He did play at IMG last year in Florida,
Okay.
but he came back for his senior year to Cass Tech. He's currently committed to Colorado as a DB, if I'm not mistaken. He plays DB and receiver, but I think he's committed as a DB because I think it has Kevin Mathis as his recruiter.
Okay.
He did attend this game yesterday, so just worth noting. He's on a watch list to potentially flip to Michigan as well.
Okay.
I won't say it's definite. I won't say it's a lock or anything like that, but he is a local kid. There are some other kids on that high school football team on Cass Tech that Michigan is looking to get as well. So he may have that peer pressure to stay home and play for Michigan. But we'll see. We'll see. He, again, currently committed to Colorado, pretty decent athlete. I think he's like a 3/4 star in most recruiting sites. Alex Graham out of Detroit, Michigan, was also at this game yesterday.
All right. Okay. That's what's up. Thank that. Hey, all right. And then so we getting a look at the Big Ten standings right now. I want to take a look at this Big Ten standings, kind of like how we did the SEC standings just a minute ago. Indiana being up at the top of that list. That's crazy because they play Michigan. They got Michigan next. Indiana has Michigan.
Yep.
Do you think that your Wolverines take care of business versus Indiana?
I do not. I do not. That game is in. That game is in Indiana and Bloomington. So the way they're playing, I mean, they're playing disciplined, well coached. They're talented on both sides of the ball. I think Indiana wins that game and probably wins handily. Another thing with Michigan as well, they're kind of banged up on the defensive side of the ball. We played yesterday without our starting two cornerbacks. Will Johnson, I seriously doubt Will Johnson plays another snap in the Michigan uniform. They say he may come back at the end of the year, but I don't think he will. The second best corner was out as well. Their best receiver, or most talented receiver, was out against Oregon. So, it's they're looking to next year, but it's just from being a sleeper and probably knocking. I think they'll get another win and be bowl eligible, get that 6th win to be bowl eligible. But I do not think Michigan wins that game in Indiana against Indiana. I think that, shouts out to shouts out to Indiana. They're playing amazing football this year.
They are. They got to be the biggest surprise team for a lot of people out there, except me. Except me, right? I if you've been following me a little bit, y'all out there, I've been talking about them in the off season. I was big on Curtis. I was calling him Ryuk. That's what I was calling him, Ryuk, right?
Okay.
But it's Rourke, and I made a couple videos on him. Preston Stone. I talked about Indiana. And I stumbled on them because when I watched the MAC championship last year, when Rourke. I don't think it was the championship, excuse me, but it may have been. It was Rourke versus Daquan Finn. Am I right? And Toledo, Toledo, Ohio, they were battling it out. And I'm looking at both of these quarterbacks, and I'm like, okay, Daquan Finn has some things, but I thought he may be able to fix those things over the summer. I thought that was a fix, like he could have taken care of over the summer. You know what I mean? With him being a older player. But Ryuk, I've seen it in him. I'm like, man, who is this big white boy? And then to be to be honest, when you think big white boy quarterback, who do you think about? You think about probably two quarterbacks, right? Ben Roethlisberger or Josh Allen, whichever that you. If somebody say Josh Allen, they're probably younger than us, but you know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm thinking like, okay, that's he reminds me of those guys, but that's just me being stereotypical, and I'm being honest with it. I ain't going front.
Yep.
But I'm like, damn, his game's a little different than those guys. You know what I'm saying? He can run, he can move good enough, but him being at Indiana, Kurt Cignetti seen something, and then that made me look into Indiana more and see what they were getting, right? And I heard another content creator out there, shout out to him, talking about D'Angelo Pons and how
D'Angelo Pons. I was about to get to that if you didn't. Yeah, D'Angelo Pons. Yep.
and D'Angelo Pons was supposed to be at Colorado.
He
And
was. He certainly was. That's exactly where I was going to get to it.
Colorado couldn't. Yeah, they Colorado couldn't they couldn't lock him down, and they were like, well, he's only 5'9".
Yep.
He is arguably one of the best corners in college football. His technique, his strength. He does not play like he's 5'9" and 175 pounds. He don't play like that. I have to be honest. He hits. He's very physical. His man, the way that he covers you is crazy. They call it sitting in the hip pocket, something that I just learned, right? He does that with the best of them. He does that with the best of them. And for Curt Cignetti to get these guys coming from James Madison University and get them all to buy in, that is another team that had a tremendous amount of transfer portal guys and have made it work for his team. And look, I would honestly say that whatever NFL team out there is not thinking about drafting Curtis Rourke has to be out of their damn mind. Would you agree with that or disagree, and why?
I would agree. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. They haven't lost the game yet, and even if they, go through this last stretch and go 1 for 3 or 2 out of 3 or win them all, I mean, they're a well-coached, a productive football team, and that's attributed to the coaching and the players. So, yeah, Curtis Rourke should definitely be on draft boards as a pick whenever D'Angelo Pons comes out. He's only a sophomore now. Yeah, he's good. He's the real deal. So, yeah, shout out to Curt Cignetti for finding these players and bringing his own guys. A lot of his own guys are the ones making the most contributions, but going out there and finding a Kurt Rourke as your quarterback. So, yeah, I mean, shout out to that football team. Shout out to Curt Cignetti. And yeah, I expect great things from Indiana. And honestly, because of if you're a Juju Lewis looking around, you got to be like, oh, man. People going into the season probably like, oh, Indiana, Juju Lewis. Like, it's no way. But I think they're at the very least making it a tough decision. Whether he's going to stick with USC or, go to Colorado or even look at Indiana, because Indiana should be in the thick of things with, how they're playing.
So. Yeah, right. Let's talk about that for a minute. Let's stay right there for a minute real quick, Lawrence. Because let's talk about the benefits at each school for a young Juju Lewis, a quarterback, which is like the head of your football team nowadays, right? The captain of the offense. He runs that ship, so forth and so on, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, let's talk about some of the benefits he'll get from those top 3 schools, Auburn, Colorado, and Indiana. Like, what's the upsides for a Juju Lewis at an Auburn, and what's the upsides for him at Colorado and Indiana? Can you explain that a little bit? I mean, I'll give my take on it too.
Sure. And I still obviously throw USC in there because that's where he's still committed to.
Okay, SC. Okay, we'll throw SC in there too. Okay.
Yeah. Until he decommits, they got to be a player. So I'll start with Auburn. Auburn obviously playing in the SEC. There is a need, and he's a Georgia kid, right? So he's from that region. He gets to stay home, so to speak, or close to home.
Yeah,
playing in Auburn, playing those SEC schools, and that weather thing that we talked about earlier, playing in nice weather for the majority of the year. And again, there being a need, and Hugh Freeze building that thing up. It may not be going as fast as in Indiana, obviously. Indiana hit lightning in a bottle, and they're 9-0 right now, but Hugh Freeze will get that team better. So there's going to be potential. They do have some talented skill position players on that roster that he can work with going forward, and young guys at that he will be tandem with. So, and then obviously the allure of playing in the SEC, playing the top competition. So there will be I think that will be the most growing pains, because they will probably have to play him right away, start him right away. And they don't really have that vet. I think the quarterback right now, the senior from Michigan State, I think this is his last year. So he doesn't have a safety blanket if he goes to Auburn. and then maybe some growing pains in his freshman year. Now, if we do where he's committed now to USC, now again, there's a need. There's going to be a need.
Mm-hmm.
I think he will have a little bit of time to develop there and not be thrown in the fold right away. So he could potentially attract more players to come into class going forward and learn at least for a season. Playing on the West Coast again, playing in the Big Ten, but playing on the West Coast part of the Big Ten. So, you know, that's obviously something that got him to recruit, commit there to
SC, right?
USC. So, yeah, I mean, but the downside of USC, I mean, are they getting those top guys to build around him today? I mean, you can make an argument they have a decent recruiting class, but they're not top 5, top 10 as you would expect the USC to be. So will he have those top skill positions to work with, skill position players surrounding him to be put in the best position for success at SC? That remains to be seen.
Yeah, that's the question. You're right about that.
And then we can go to Colorado before we go to Indiana. Colorado. So obviously there's a need there. The cupboard is bare after Shedeur leaves. So he probably again will have to play early. We know what they have as the skill position to work with going forward is a pretty decent skill position. That he have to work with core group of receivers and running backs and stuff like that. I think they still can get better, and we know they will by going back into the portal and getting some of those good players as well. He has built that relationship with Coach Prime, obviously with the multiple visits. Built that relationship with Shedeur, which he'll be gone, but still, to know what to expect, multiple visits. So there's obviously with them actually being there just a couple weeks ago, there is some comfortability there, and it's probably leaning that way, to be honest, because I haven't heard anything about him visiting Indiana. And a lot of times it's just about being comfortable. Like, hey, man, this is just a place for me. I know I may have some rocks. I might not have the best players or whatever, but I feel most comfortable in this situation right here. And it seems like Colorado is trending in that direction. So, and then we close with Indiana. And with Indiana, I mean, they're winning. It's a winning program. We know that Curt Cinetti is going to build that team up, put pieces around me to be successful, as most successful as possible. As we tie it back to Colorado, I also hear that Winston Watkins is on their watch list as well. Winston Watkins, that was a long time committed to. He was a class 25 receiver out of Florida, committed to Colorado, and he decommitted last year when he got wind, according to him, that Coach Prime wasn't going to be there after this season. So Winston Watkins is on a watch list for Indiana now. And I think he may be waiting to see if Julian Lewis commits to this, to decide whether or not he's going to commit to Indiana as well. So we know that they will get good players. That team is going to be well coached. And if they don't get them out the recruiting class, which I have seen their Indiana's recruiting class, it's pretty solid. It's not top 10 or anything, but it's solid for it to be Indiana. So they're definitely trending in the right direction. It'll be a good situation. Now that's going to have the disadvantage of all schools with the weather, it being in Indiana and, playing home games and playing in the Big Ten in general. You're going to have to play these winter, November, late November games, whether it's in Indiana or playing at Ohio State or playing in Michigan, playing at Michigan State, where you're playing against, playing in cold weather. Everybody's not built for that. All players are not built for that. All players are not built for that. So he has to decide if I don't care. I want to play for that Indiana University regardless. That's going to be something I'm going to contend with. But, I mean, if you look at what's on the field and what go by production of this season, Indiana got to be right there in the thick of things and probably one of the leaders. But, again, we don't know about the weather and we don't know about the NIL bag for any of these schools, so to speak. The three I named before are probably going to drop a bigger bag than what Indiana has at its disposal today. So, it had to be like he actually wants to play for Curt Cinetti. He actually wants to play at Indiana University. honestly, if he were to choose that school, but it will come with the caveat of good players following him there as well, like a
That's
Wisconsin.
right.
So
That's right. He got to
that's my
get
take on it.
players.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's honestly a toss up at this. I don't know where he's gonna go. If I were to take Batman and have gun to my head, pick one school, it looked like it is trending Colorado, but that I
Yeah.
mean, we still got a lot of time. That can very well change. So we'll see.
Yeah, right. And I like that, Lawrence. Like, so I was thinking, like, because money, the bag, you know what I'm saying, the fame, all that's something that a young player might be looking at. First, they probably looking at the bag. I don't know how Juju Lewis is looking at this, right?
Exactly.
It's
You never know. Yep.
I don't know what he's prioritizing first. Is he prioritizing his education? Is he prioritizing the bag? Is he prioritizing the fame? You know what I'm saying? So I'm just speculating on that, right? In which each of these schools, it's just my opinion on that. First off, let me make that clear to everybody out there. So when I look at SC, right, you look at the quarterback whisperer being there, right? He's done well with guys that have transferred. He's always taken somebody else's guy and gotten them and been able to turn them into, first round pick quarterbacks. That's a fact. He can do that. He's never really gotten his guy from the jump and been able to, take him to further heights. It's always been
Yep.
somebody else's guy, whether
Yep.
it was Gus Malzahn or whoever else, and being able to pull them in and turn them into superstars, right? So that with SC, that's something you're thinking about. And then the culture at SC right now, what's the temperature at SC? Why is Bear Alexander leaving? Why is this guy leaving? Why is this guy talking about holding out?
Yep.
Is the bag there at SC? You know what I'm saying? I know the education there. I know great football is there. I'm going to bring some guys there, but are these guys that I'm going to bring there going to be taken care of? Because there's a
Mhm.
lot of receivers out there that want to play with a Juju Lewis at quarterback, right? Let's make that clear. He's going to bring guys wherever he goes, right? But then on the other, you look at Auburn, right? Auburn is already set. They're going to lose their senior running back probably this year. They're going to lose their running back this year, but that's cool. They are a young roster that is literally just lacking experience. Auburn will be a top SEC team next year. If everybody comes back to Auburn as planned on schedule, Auburn is just missing right now the dynamic play of a quarterback. Having a freshman come in like Juju Lewis, he'll be able to elevate that offense or just game manage. And there's nothing wrong with being a game manager at quarterback. Let me make that clear. All he got to do is just manage the game. That means he's smart as fuck because he's able to make all the right decisions, take care of the ball, and keep it moving and being able to score touchdowns. And Juju Lewis can do that. He's a good ball spinner, natural ball spinner of the ball. I've seen him do it, seen him play, right? With Auburn. So Auburn's right there on the cusp. In the SEC, you're going to get noticed. Hugh Freeze is your head coach, right? That's something to think about. When you look at Indiana, it's almost the same thing, right? Big star power being in the Big Ten. He's going to have to bring a lot of guys over there. Kurt Signetti knows what he's doing. All the right guys are in the right place. Looking at what he was able to do with a G5 quarterback like Curtis Rourke and turn him into one of the best quarterbacks right now in the nation, and looking at that and put him in the best position, you got to be looking at that right now. If you're Juju Lewis, like, damn, like I can get a couple of my guys, but he has the guys there and they have the right training there. But you're looking at that. They're as good as Indiana is with their record. They're not getting worse. They're not plateauing, y'all. They are progressing. They're getting better each week with everything they're doing. Means that is a fucking 5-star program. Now, that prestige may be low last year, but what Kurt Signetti brought there is good. Now, they can lose a couple of games. So what? They're working on that. And Juju Lewis will be able to come in and put that on there. But I gotta be honest, when you're looking at Colorado and Juju Lewis, right? You looking at the bag, right? He's going to get the bag there, right? Because he's jumping right into Shador's footsteps, right? He's gonna have a chance to break Shador's records if he goes to Colorado and commits there and plays there, because he'll be there longer than Shador was, right? So he'll probably break those records, which will just elevate him even higher in everything. He don't got to bring a lot of skill position guys there because they have skill position guys there, and Dion is always going to be able to attract the skill position guys. So the bags there, the education's there, the team that the places you need is there. Now he needs to bring in some offensive alignment. Well, when you got Jordan Seaton already set there, you know what I'm saying, playing the offensive line, you got Cash Cleveland, who probably will be a start in somewhere in the interior next year. I definitely will say that. I don't see how you sit Cash Cleveland 2 years in a row, especially saying that him and Jordan Seaton has that. They'll probably bring in some more guys that they know around the country, and Colorado's definitely going to attract more bigs by next year. I just, you know what? I look. I don't I get what people talking about with the whole decommitment, which is not a word, but whatever y'all want to say, with not committing to a school and then looking at other options. But right now, if I'm Juju Lewis, like I would honestly have to say that Colorado is the way to go, man. I would have to say that, man. They're not losing, they're on schedule. Um, it is the Big 12 though, you know what I'm saying? And it's not the competition. So in order for me to get a chance at a bowl game or to be really taken seriously, he would have to play in a tougher conference. But who knows? The Big 12 may get better because when you attract the Juju Lewis to Colorado, you may attract another 4 or 5 star quarterback to a different program. You already got Avery Johnson, he'll be better next year, and it's just a snowball effect. You're attracting better competition because now they want to beat Colorado, right? Because Colorado's the cream of the crop of the Big 12. So now if you can't join them, then that shit I might as well try to beat them. And I just think Colorado is the way to go for a young Juju Watkins. Because look, the bag gotta be talking to people right now. You got that check, got the bag. Um, your education, you got that on lock, check. Your position, you coming in starting, check. Your skill position guys, your protection as far as your O lines, it's all there at Colorado. I think everything lines up there, and I got to be honest with that. But I'm looking at everything as a whole and all the pluses and minuses now with everything, and I don't think that there's much of a downside to him, joining Colorado. I really don't. When I looking at it, the only downside I could think of is him not going there and starting right away, for some odd reason, because he couldn't beat out the Wade or somebody else that may still be there. Um, but shoot, he's probably going to start anywhere he goes because quarterbacks are hard to come by. So I mean that's my take on that whole thing, man. I hope that I wasn't too long winded with y'all right there.
Got a
uh,
good point in the chat about Auburn. They did just flip Deuce Knight from Notre Dame at quarterback. So
oh, do
Auburn
that.
Auburn is probably crossed out the list with that flip there.
Okay, all right. Well, that they well, I mean, if I'm looking at, I mean, look, I'm looking at Indiana and Colorado. Um, they're doing good right now. Indiana, Colorado, SC not so well, but even with Miller Moss, there you're looking at that like they got Miller Moss. They do got Branch. The opportunity for bag in South Carolina, it's there. It's California. Like you can get a bag there, but it's just not happening. And Colorado just got all the momentum, and I think it's smart. It's easier to slide in there, and everything is set there too. Like, so all you got to do is just come in there, stay up on your skills and do your thing, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's it's set up for him to be so to slide in there. So I agree with you too. But that was just my take on that whole thing,
Yep.
right? Good to talk about that and bring that up though. That was a good one right there. Um, Florida and Georgia. I talked about that a little bit. I think I talked about the loss of this loss with Texas Tech. Man, Texas Tech beating Iowa State yesterday about 1 point, and they were at home. Man, it's wow. To be honest with you, I'm looking at Texas Tech right now. If they were able to beat Iowa, I think they could beat Colorado, Lawrence. I think they could beat Colorado. And look, I'm not saying that Colorado, like you said, they're a front runner team. If they're playing from ahead, they're hard to stop.
Yep.
Iowa State has a good defense. They have a solid defense. They got a real good defense. Let me stop. Let me stop there. They got a really good defense. Um, the offense, Rocco Beck. I think that the way the offense running through him, he's just like a good game manager, system quarterback. I don't think that they took the reins out of his hands and just let him free play. They got different receiver play there. Great defensive play over there at Iowa State. And for Texas Tech to go in there at their house and win, I cannot say that without without that, Colorado will beat them. Now, can they beat them? Yes, they can beat Texas Tech. They can beat all these teams in the Big 12. But like we're seeing, like everybody's been saying, it's week to week.
week to week.
Houston, they were 3-5, came in and beat Kansas State, a team that Colorado couldn't beat. Now, so you don't know what's going to happen week to week in the Big 12. Like it's really a toss up. And I mean, if you watch that Houston and K State game, you probably would say that Houston looked like they were going to win that whole game, bro. Like, I mean, even even being down or whatever, like you knew that they were going to win that game the way that they were playing that game against Kansas State. Did you watch that game?
I didn't watch the entirety of the game. I watched pretty much the end as
Okay.
Kansas State was trying to drive and score again. Saw the interceptions and things like that. I didn't watch the beginning part of the game to make that determination that Houston pretty much dominated from jump. But I did see the end, and as they were trying to get that last score, Kansas State. I mean, I know they were in panic mode, but they didn't look good at all. So
Oh yeah,
honestly, I
yeah.
saw that the last few drives of both of those games, the Texas Tech and Iowa State game. Saw the last couple drives in that, and then the same thing with Kansas State and Houston. Saw the last couple drives of those
Okay.
of that game as well.
Yeah,
So
like man, like and Donovan Smith, the quarterback for Houston, man, he's always like last year he was one of the most accurate in the conference as far as, but he had a big problem with turning the ball over. I don't think he's fixed that this year, as far as his interceptions and everything. But I will say, like, and I'm going to say this right, for a quarterback like Anthony Richardson to be a top draft pick after he runs a 4.4. And I'm going to say this, and I know I'm going out on a limb and I'm going to get pushed back, but if Donovan Smith for Houston runs good in a 40, he'll probably get drafted, bro. That's all I'm saying. I know it's crazy to say that, but it is what it is, right? Um, Nebraska losing again. So with everything that's revolved that this the Colorado talk is bringing up right now, Lawrence, them being able to having a chance to win the Big 12 right now.
yep,
You don't know with the Big 12, the losses they had, bro. Um, how significant now is this Nebraska loss that Colorado took looking, especially when they lose back to back weeks? Um, they lost what, three in a row now, right?
yep,
They got smacked by Indiana, lost to Ohio State in a close one, and they lose to UCLA.
yep,
And this loss is huge to me because they were what, 2-5, 2-5, 1-4 in the Big Ten.
yeah.
Yeah, like, and they pretty much dominate that game. So now, do you think that that loss to Nebraska that Colorado took look worse?
It does. It's looking more and more like a bad loss. Um, just overall on the plate. Now it looks worse in the sense of playoff talk. If they wind up winning out and are right there in that 12 to 16 ranking, it looks worse on as far as Colorado getting in the playoffs. Again, as far as just trying to compete and potentially play for a conference championship, it doesn't have an effect. You still have to win out and put yourself in best position to vie for a conference title championship.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as getting in the playoff, yeah, it is looking like a really bad loss now with Nebraska falling to 5-4 and not necessarily looking like a quote unquote good football team.
You could jump up here now, Zion. I don't think Restream would kick you off like how StreamYard was. We going through some things right now. I might have to ban them. I knew UNC would take care of business versus Florida State. I was hoping that they will. I was hoping they would. Oklahoma State is 0-6 in the Big 12, bro. That is the biggest disappointment in college football, bro. The biggest disappointment in college football this season. If any of the professionals in mainstream media called that, that was super wrong. I was super wrong on that too. I must say that. It's hard to be right on everything when you talk about more than one team, but sad one team, right? You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
Um, Arizona State, they looking good. I must say that they're looking good. Well balanced football team. Scottaboo running the ball. They were able to beat Oklahoma State 42-20.
Scottaboo had a monster game in that game. He had over 100 yards receiving in that game as well, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, shout out to Arizona State.
They doing their thing, man. That's what I'm like, bro. Like man, Scottaboo. It's because he's a white running back, right? That's why he's not talked about a whole lot through the world like that. Like, let's keep it a buck. Like, let's keep it a buck out here right now, Lawrence. Like, is that you think that got something to do with it, bro?
I'm sure it has a lot to do with it, but
Yeah,
he's doing his thing out there with the game
yeah,
he had against against Oklahoma State. He was unstoppable out there. So
yeah.
I didn't
23
watch the game,
carries,
but I just saw the
153
stats.
yards.
Yep.
Scottaboo had what? He almost had 100 yards receiving. You said right? He had 3 catches, 3 targets, 71 yards, one passing touchdown. Yeah, he played a complete game yesterday, man. He played a complete game yesterday. I didn't get a chance to check that game out though. Of course, I was at a basketball practice yesterday. Got my little team going on. You know what I'm saying? I just got babies. I ain't coaching big time basketball, but I just don't talk about sports and whatever. I try to bring a lot of different kids together, white, black, Asian. I don't care what they are, but I'm trying to do something for our youth. I'm trying to do my part out here. So when I get to talking shit about shit, no, I'm actually out here being active and proactive in my community. Or you being proactive in your community? You know what I'm saying? Like that's all I could help. I hope that everybody watching is doing something to help. You know what I'm saying? Because not only am I helping my child grow, I'm trying to help other kids grow and preach the whole family into togetherness team thing. You know what I'm saying? Try to break some of these racial barriers that we have made grown up with. You know what I'm saying? I will say this. Shout out to all the parents out there that have a kid that's 13 or younger, 15 and younger, I would say right now. Y'all done an amazing job with making sure that your kid is able to get along with all different kinds of kids. I will say that to y'all. So pat yourself on the back right now. Because I appreciate that because I'm out here doing it. And I wouldn't be able to coach the team that I have now had y'all not done a good job with y'all kids. So I just want to give a shout out to the parents real quick. I know it ain't got nothing to do with football, but sometimes I get on that and I get real. UCF took care of business versus Arizona. I knew they would. Stomped them 56-12, smacked them. Wyoming beat New Mexico. That was not supposed to happen. 49-45. Middle Tennessee State beat UTEP yesterday, 20-13. Marshall did beat University of Louisiana Monroe. I thought they would. Marshall's been playing good as of late. I don't know if I got a chance to check them out. This Sun Belt game was an upset. Coastal Carolina should have been able to take care of business versus Troy, but they weren't. Troy beat Coastal Carolina 38-24. I called this game. Navy lost to Rice. I said it yesterday. I did say it. Rice would beat Navy. They beat them 24-10, which was crazy. I'm not a psychic or nothing. I just seen that Navy and Notre Dame game, and I said, "Uh-oh, they're exposed." Next team that plays them probably should take care of business, and that's exactly what happened. Um, Mississippi State beat UMass 20-45, 45-20. Hawaii beat Fresno 21-20. Dang, that was crazy. I thought Fresno would be able to take care of business in that game, but they weren't able to. Let's talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about these two a little. That's crazy. South Carolina beat Texas A&M. I talked about that. And Louisville beat Clemson. Louisville beat Clemson. And I've been talking about Clemson. I just gave them their props and everything. Like, with those teams losing, do you got to put Miami in the top 3 right now? Does Miami Hurricanes deserve to be a top 3 team in the nation?
I think so. I believe so.
Do you? You really believe that, huh?
Yeah, I do. So I'm trying to look at
Uh-huh.
the top 20, the top 5 at least to see what the order was
Did,
last
did,
week.
did they
So
fix, did
Oregon,
they fix it today yet? Had they fixed it?
not yet. It usually
Okay.
get posted about 1 o'clock.
Okay.
p.m. Eastern time. But you got to leave Oregon at number one. I will probably jump. I don't know if I'll make Ohio State number two, but I think they'll jump Penn State. Penn State was number three. Ohio State was number four. So I'll probably I'll probably jump Ohio State to three.
Okay.
Who was number two? Was it
It's Georgia. Georgia is number 2.
obviously they stay put. So
Okay.
yeah, so do I jump? So do I jump Miami over Ohio State? I would. So
They at least move up one,
I
right?
got
You'll
Oregon
have
State
to
to put. I put Georgia at 2. I'll probably move Miami to 3, and then
okay.
put Ohio State at 4.
Okay. Okay. You know what? And if and then in any case, I was thinking you put Ohio State at 3, and Miami moves up 1, and Penn State goes to 5. I was thinking maybe that, or maybe they even go to
It could
6.
be. It could be. I can see that as well.
You know what I mean? Maybe you got to move up Texas to 5, Miami to 4, Penn State drops to 3, Ohio State goes to 3, Ohio State goes to 3, and Penn State at number 3 drops to number 6, right above Tennessee. I thought. I don't know.
Penn State dropped to 6. Yeah. I can see Penn State dropping to 6, and you moving Texas up.
Okay.
Yeah, shift everybody up, and Penn State dropping to 6. I don't know if I put Penn State over Texas at this point. I think I got them one slot below.
Right. Yep. Right. That's that's what I'm thinking too, though, Lawrence. Because I'm like, if we move, because Penn State, I don't know if they deserve to be ahead of Texas. Because for some reason, I think Texas could get Penn State.
Yeah.
From what they showed yesterday.
Yep.
But so you move Texas and Miami both move up one slot. So Texas would move to number 5. Miami goes to number 4. Ohio State goes to number 3. Penn State drops to number 6, and everything else from there stays the same. Because I do think that Penn State could beat Tennessee. I do think Penn State can beat Notre Dame. I do think they could beat BYU. Texas A&M, do you think they drop from that loss to South Carolina from number 10, and how far do you think they go down?
So both Texas A&M and Clemson are going to drop, and Iowa State as well. All 3 of those teams are going to drop. So that moves Indiana up to the top
number
10.
10.
Obviously, Alabama is going to move up to probably about that 11th spot right after Indiana. Boise State will move up as well in the top 12.
Oh.
So, yeah, you got Boise State as a top 12 team right now in the playoff. Obviously, Pittsburgh is going to drop.
Yes, they're probably going to drop out of the top 25, maybe at 25, right?
Yep.
Or they may drop out of the top 25 with that loss. The way that they lost to, you know what I'm saying? SMU.
Yeah. I think they'll still be top 25.
Okay.
They'll be closer to the bottom.
Well, all these teams are
because Illinois lost as well. So
yeah, they're out.
They're going to be out. So just for that, some of the teams at the bottom are going to, at least Illinois is going to drop out. So I think Pittsburgh will still be top 25 for sure.
Okay. And then Army, they struggle. They struggle with Air Force yesterday. Do they drop out from 21, or do you think they keep them at 21?
I think they keep them at 21. They may bump up just a slight nudge just because Pittsburgh lost. They may go like one spot, but they're going to be around that 2021 spot.
Where does Colorado move up at? You think? I mean, it's just us speculating, y'all. There's no way that we know this. We don't have the metrics. We don't have the numbers in front of us. It's just us sitting up here speculating. So
we got Kansas State lost. We got Pittsburgh losing as well. So I think that'll move Colorado maybe up a potential 2 spots with Army. So Army may be within the top 20. They may be 19 or so because I forgot Kansas State lost as well. Okay. So Kansas State and Pitt will move after Army. They'll be close to Colorado. So I don't know if you move a Kansas State below Colorado because they beat them. And then Pitt is still going to probably be above Colorado as well because they only have 1 loss.
Boy, just ain't it? It's exciting, ain't it exciting, yo?
Yeah.
It's exciting, yo, because like whoever's job it is to do the top 25 when it comes down to AP poll and coaches poll, like I know they sitting down like, wow, like you don't know what's gonna happen from let's just call it like this, y'all. From 15 on down to 25, those teams are relatively the same. Like you don't know what's gonna
Yeah.
happen. Like Ole Miss, I don't know where you put Ole Miss at now during the SEC. They got to beat Georgia. Georgia's number 2 right now, defended number 2. Texas plays Georgia. They also Texas also got Texas A&M. Um, Colorado, Colorado is sneaking in there, man. They're sneaking up there. They still got to be behind Kansas State because Kansas State owns the tiebreaker, but they got to drop because they just lost to Houston. That made like I don't know, man. You
I'm
at
looking at
number
a predictor right
17.
now.
Okay,
Uh,
all
go-
right.
yeah, I'm looking at a predictor
No,
now.
go.
So this is what the bottom. I'm going from bottom up. So
Okay,
it has 25 Tulane, 24 Vandy,
okay,
23 Missouri, 22 Kansas State, 21 Colorado. So this one actually has Colorado above Kansas State in this
okay.
projected model. Again, it's just a projected. Um, 20 Washington State, 19 Army, 18 Clemson, 17 Iowa State, 16 Ole Miss, 15 LSU, 14 Texas A&M, 13 SMU, 12 Boise State, 11 Alabama, 10 Indiana, and then the top 9 is BYU, 8 Penn State, 7 Notre Dame, 6 Tennessee, 5 Texas, 4 Miami, 3 Ohio State, 2 Georgia, and Oregon staying at number 1.
Okay. So it sounds like we had the top 10 on point.
Yep. Yep.
That's
Pretty much.
crazy. That's crazy. So
Pretty much.
where'd you get that prediction from? What if you don't mind me asking, where'd you pull
This
that up
is
from?
college football news. Let me drop it in the thing so you can bring it up.
All right, college football news.
Collegefootballnews.com.
Okay. All right, I should be able to just pull that up like right
Okay.
off the thing, you know what I'm saying? Collegefootballnews.com.
Yeah.
Predictions. All right, I think I got it right here. Is that it right
Yeah.
there? Is that
That's
what
it.
we looking at? So what
That
we
is
looking
it. Go down, scroll down. Oh no, it's
at? AP top 25 week 11 prediction.
on mine it says top 25 poll week 11 prediction. Yeah, yeah. But I don't have that 134 teams. Mine just say 2024 college football rankings.
Okay. All
Oh,
right.
there you go. That's it. That's it right there. Yep. That's it.
All right.
Yep.
So we got Tulane. Yep, Tulane at 25. Ooh, Vanderbilt 24, Missouri 23, Kansas, like you said, Kansas State goes to 22, Colorado 21. I think you got to put Colorado above Washington State, even though Washington State's sitting at 7-1. Like they're playing G5s, bro. Literally, like I mean, but it is what it is. You can't do nothing about your schedule. You're winning out 7-1. They're not losing. Not to say that the Mountain West is weak because the Mountain West has proven to ball out. Army going to 19. I knew that they were probably dropped because of that weak Sean versus Air Force. Clemson goes to 18. Yep. Iowa State. Yep. Ole Miss. Damn. Ole Miss only moves up 3. I thought they would move up a little bit. LSU 15. I think that's fair. SMU, they put it on Pitt like crazy, but they don't even got Pitt in the top 25, right?
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I don't think they are in the top 25.
Nah, like after you get smacked like that, I thought they would drop out because their strength of schedule ain't that strong. So
That's
you know what
true.
I mean? I would have to agree with that. Like, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
To get smacked like that versus a opponent like a ranked opponent is horrible. But
Yep.
Indiana being that team, they deserve it. Alabama's at 11 looking in. Penn State at 8 right now, drop down. Notre Dame, yeah. And then we were probably on point from there on out, man. But yeah, that looked fair to me right there.
Yeah,
Look,
I think so. I think so.
and dang, I got I didn't even know I had a ad up there, but whatever. I'll pull it off real quick. Um, and then I'll talk a little bit about that. But yeah, then I was just scroll through some of these games. Clemson, they took that L yesterday. Iowa offense got back rolling versus Wisconsin. I was wrong on that game. They beat Wisconsin 42-10. Washington took care of business versus SC. I thought they would 26-21. Georgia Southern beat Southern Alabama. I was surprised about that. They beat them by 4, 34-30. Tennessee was in a dogfight with Kentucky. They beat them in that rivalry game 28-18. Pitt got smacked around by SMU 48-25. Baylor was able to beat TCU in that game, snapping a losing streak to TCU. They beat them 37-34. And Colorado State remains undefeated in the Mountain West Conference, beating Nevada 38-21, right? Now I'll talk about, so I'll just try to quick pick on some of these NFL games before we get on up out of here though. Y'all could have joined in. It's the same thing as the stream yard, but I ain't tripping. I ain't tripping on y'all. Y'all good. I appreciate you kicking it with me though, Lawrence. Appreciate
Oh,
you
for
coming
sure.
in and kicking it, bro.
Bro.
Dope. So but because I dropped the link a couple times for some folks out there. Obviously they ain't want to join in, but it's all good though. Um so we got the Jets beat the Texans. That was a crazy thing that they had to keep their season alive, and they did that versus a Texans team that's depleted at receiver. We knew that going in and saying that. Who you got versus the Saints and the Panthers? I just want to ask you for some of your picks.
Yeah, I got the Saints. The Panthers is just a terribly ran organization. I understand they're going with Bryce Young the rest of the year, but he doesn't have many weapons and tools around him to be successful. A terrible offensive line. So just for that reason, and I know the Saints aren't much better this year because but Spencer Rattler is playing somewhat decent. For that reason, I got the Saints winning that
I
game.
think Derek Carr is supposed to be starting today.
Derek Carr is coming back with that
Yeah, I
oblique.
think so.
I know that's a tough injury to come back from. So, but if he comes back for sure, I got them blowing out the Panthers if they have a healthy Derek Carr. But if not, I still got the Saints
The
beating the
Saints,
Panthers.
yeah, I would agree. I would have to take the Saints in that game. The Commanders and the Giants. I'm going with the Commanders. Although the Giants are able, they are still leading the NFL in sacks. They do got the front four. They do got a defense, but they got to somehow get that offense rolling. They kind of got a little bit of weapons there. They're not quite there yet. Washington Commanders, Jalen Daniels is playing out of his mind. That offense is able to beat you in multiple ways. I got the Commanders in that game. Who you got?
Got the Commanders as well. Saints. I mean, not the Saints. The Giants are just terrible. So I mean, just go be short and sweet with that. Commanders, just because there's more talent there. Jane
Yeah.
Daniels is playing pretty solid football, good football, like a seasoned veteran out there, and the Giants they're just abysmal. So
All
Commanders.
right. All right. I think when the Dolphins and the Bills, big rivalry division game right here, man. I'm going with Bills Mafia, man. I'm going with Josh Allen and the Bills, man. I think that they got younger right at the time they needed to. I think that organization has learned in the past when they went to 4 straight Super Bowls, and then those guys kind of got old. Um, People thought that the Bills was going to miss a beat. I kept trying to tell y'all. I don't know everything, y'all, but I do know football, and I thought that they moved and got younger at the right time for what they were trying to do at receiver and across the board. And I like the Bills, man. I like Josh Allen and the Bills to beat the Dolphins at home. Who you got?
I got the Bills as well. Tua coming back. Would they click on offense like they were explosive? They were, when that offense was rolling on the road in Buffalo. I don't think so. Not quite yet. So I got the Bills winning that game as well, like you said, for the same reasons. Josh Allen seems to be on the roll, and
Yeah,
they did get younger at the right time in the skill positions uh, with James Cook and Keon Coleman on the outside. So
yeah.
Bills in that one.
All right, Bills. All right, like I got a bias with this one. With this pick next, this pick, I definitely got a bias of me myself because I'm a Steelers fan, of course, and the Browns are playing at home. The Dog Pound. Shout out to the Dog Pound because I got a lot of friends and family that are Browns fans and Bills fans as well. But I need the Browns to lose to help my Steelers. So I'm biased. So I'm really not picking. of fairness, and I as I should. But now let me take my Steeler hat off. Right, the Chargers is going to present a problem to them. I think that Justin Herbert and the way that they're able to run the ball with J.K. Dobbins, I think that that may work with them. But the Browns are playing really good ball with Jameis Winston, and they're at home, and that's a tough environment even for my Steelers to go into, man. So, I look, man, I gotta take my hat off, man. I gotta go with the Browns today, man, over the Chargers in a close one.
I'm gonna go the opposite way on this one. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. They still, in my opinion, haven't played up to their abilities. They got a lot of talent on that roster on both sides of the ball, and I think it's just a matter of time before they explode. The
All
Browns
right.
obviously going with Jameis the rest of the way. Um, he's been playing pretty solid. I just don't think they have enough to beat the Chargers on either side of the ball. They're kind of banged up. Still no Nick Chubb, so I got the Chargers in this one.
I thought they had Nick Chubb last week.
I know he was close. I don't know if he actually came back or not, but I know he's supposed to be close. But I didn't think he played last week.
All right. If you can check on that because I think I picked them for some prop bets today. I think it and you can't switch that with FanDuel. So if you can do Bet US though, but I ain't trying to be nobody's sponsor because they need to be sponsoring Truck and Chubby. So that's why y'all gotta hit the like button so that I look pleasing to these sponsors. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't donating shit. You know what I mean? Maybe somebody else can help get it out. You
Yeah,
feel
so
me?
you're right. He
Like,
did come back. He did come back. He did come back last week, and he
all
will
right.
be available today. So he's not on
Okay,
injury
cool.
report. So yeah, but
All right.
is he gonna be Nick Chubb of old, leading the lead in rushing type Nick Chubb? I don't know. It take a while for those running backs to come off those injuries and get chugging again like they were. So
It do.
I'm still with the
It do.
Chargers. But yeah, Nick Chubb will be playing in that game.
All right, but that's why. So yeah, they at the dog pound too. The Patriots
Yep.
and the Titans. The Titans, Mason Rudolph. He's an ex Steeler, so I kind of want to root for him with the Titans
Yep.
being at home. But the Patriots have been playing good ball though, man. Gerard Mayo got him. He got him playing good ball, and this is a tough game and a tough pick, man, to go with. They both added another rival game, AFC South game right here on the slot. Uh, it's tough to pick because you got a rookie quarterback, but then you got a backup in Mason Rudolph, and he does have the weapons. But I think somehow today, man, I think I went with the Patriots over the Titans. With money wise, but I don't know. I didn't want to make that pick because I do think that the Titans do got the receivers. Got the receivers. They got a nice back. The defense is good. They're good against the run. Very good against the run. So I don't think Ramondre Stevens is going to have a breakout game. If Mason Rudolph take care of the ball, I do think they win. But picking this game, I go with the Patriots. I guess Gerard Mayo.
Um, I'm gonna go with the Titans on this one, just because I've seen them play. I think it was a couple weeks ago when they played in Detroit, and they looked pretty solid. I mean, at least in the beginning part of that game, they were moving the ball, driving the ball down the field. Calvin Ridley, he was out there playing like he was possessed, like he was an all-pro receiver. I know they say he hadn't really had the production this year coming back from suspension and all that stuff and getting traded to Tennessee. So I think that was a good combination there, and Mason Rudolph to Calvin Ridley, and I got them winning that game.
All right. Okay. I like that. I like that. I do, man. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I just hope Mason Rudolph is able to get the ball off. The Falcons and the Cowboys, man. Dak Prescott and all that. I don't know what's going on with the Cowboys and Jerry World, but I don't think that they're on course to do anything pretty good. I'm sorry, Cowboys fans, y'all going through a lot, but I think Kirk Cousins and the Falcons, man, Bijan Robinson back there, he's getting the ball to Kyle Pitts now. Darnell Mooney has stepped up. Drake London out there. I think the Falcons and Kirk Cousins, I think they roll the Cowboys at home. I ain't saying they're gonna roll them like beat them all up on them, but I do think they get win this game, the Falcons.
I would agree with that for similar reasons. I think, yeah, it's just a down year for Dallas. Don't expect them to be a contender this year or a factor for that matter. They got a lot of injuries. Falcons at home. Give me the Falcons in that one as well. Kirk
All
Cousins
right.
playing pretty decent football.
Bet that. And the Raiders got going to the Bengals today. Uh I'm gonna go with the Bengals, even though I'm a Steelers fan. The Raiders, they seem to be in a rebuild mode right now, and seeing what they got out there. AP being a head coach, he want to see what he got out there, what guys want to play, and we know they're in a rebuild mode. Brock Bowers has been tremendous for them, and he is their number one target. I think his over on his yards was like at a 64. Over under is at 64. He does get a lot of targets because he is their number one receiving option without a doubt. So I think that's safe to take. And when you get uh the favorable matchups that a tight end gets on the NFL football field, I think that that's safe to take that. But look, I'm going with the Bengals though, man, in this game, man.
I'm gonna take the Bengals as well. Just to me, just more better overall talent around them. I mean, you got Jamar Chase still out there, so give me the Bengals in that one. I think it's gonna be a long year for Raiders fans.
All right. Right,
It's gonna be a
right.
long year for Raiders fans.
Right, the Falcons just stole their quarterback picking. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
they stole Michael Penix away from them. Right, they
Yep.
did. Like they really did. I think they did that just so the Raiders they were playing chess. Like, all right, we gonna pay Kirk Cousins and we gonna take the Raiders quarterback. But they may have been trying to, hoping that one of them guys was gonna slide to the second round. So. But I thought Garner Minshew's a good guy. I think he was a good quarterback. I don't, but there's a lot going on in Raiders right now,
Sure.
man. A lot going on with them. The Broncos and the Ravens, man. The Broncos has been playing good ball. Yeah, I got picked on a lot. Y'all told me that I was crazy out there when I said that Bo Nix will probably be one of the best rookie quarterbacks coming into the NFL. That he was going to be stepping up. I seen it last year at Oregon how he was able to read the defenses and adapt to the game, and that's what Bo Nix does. He just adapts to what he's in regardless. He may not be the best thrower of the ball, deep ball thrower, but he's doing good in that system with the Broncos. But they're playing the Ravens at home, man. And for some reason, I think the AFC North, all three of the teams win today, man. Like, it's just one of those. I think it's going to be an AFC North game today. They're playing the Ravens at home. That's going to be a tough game for them. And dynamic Lamar Jackson and big Derrick Henry running the ball, being able to go to Justice Hill besides Henry, Rashad Bateman, I think he has to step up and have a big game. They got Isaiah Likely out there. Mark Andrews is still on the field right now. Zay Flowers. I think the Ravens got it, man. I think they got it today.
I agree. The Ravens at home, they playing pretty good football. They should be right there in the thick of things come playoffs. Continuing to take that AFC championship, up there banging with the Bills and banging with the Chiefs, obviously. So I think, the Ravens keep the ball rolling. Bo Nix is playing pretty good, but he's still a rookie quarterback. There are going to be some growing pains. He's going to be. I think they have their quarterback. They have their quarterback, the Broncos and Bo Nix. Defense is obviously stout, but I think it's going to be too much to stop the Ravens overall. So give me the Ravens in that one as well. Derrick Henry also having an amazing year to be 30 years old. 30-year running back, just surpassed 10,000 career rushing yards. I think very close to 100 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, give me the Ravens in that one.
All right, back. Do you think this next game, the Bears and the Cardinals, you think that's going to be a high scoring game, or do you think that's one of those games where one of the defenses show to be dominant, and it's one of those low scoring games that we seen with the Bears and the Commanders last week? Like, do you think it's going to be like that? Because Kyler Murray really hasn't been throwing the ball all over the yard.
Yeah.
It's kind of dink and dunking, but he likes his tight end too, Trey McBride, that came from Trey McBride came from North Dakota State, correct? That tight end over there with the Cardinals, I believe. Y'all can fact check me for that, but I think that's where Trey McBride came from North Dakota State. And that's his top target over there as well. Marvin Harrison has been he's been blanketed up a lot in the NFL. He's had so far, I would say that he has not been able to make the transition. We've seen a lot of rookies receivers come in the NFL and dominate. The Bears are competitive. And this is a tough pick for me, man, because the Cardinals ball out too. But I think the Bears and Caleb Williams are able to get it done today, man, on the road versus the Cardinals. Tough pick for me though.
Yeah, I like that one because I think the Bears defense is better than what the Cardinals have on defense. Offense, you're right, it could possibly be a high scoring game, but the Bears defense has been playing pretty solid. It seems like Caleb Williams is playing settling down by the game. Obviously, they had some bad, play calls last week that cost them the game against the Commanders with the refrigerator Perry handoff on the goal line. So I doubt we see a duplicate of those kind of mistakes, and I think they play much better. Give me the Bears in that one as well.
All right. All right. Jaguars and the Eagles, man. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence has not been consistent to be getting all that money. I must lead off with that, but he do got the weapons. Tank Bigsby been able to run the ball a lot better. They're moving the ball well with that. But Saquon Barkley is the difference to me in this game. Yo, he's been just lights out. He lights out. And I like the way that he's playing. I wish that Jalen Hurts was able to get the ball more to AJ Brown. I hope that AJ Brown is fully recovered from his injury and he's able to go out there and do his thing, man. But look, I gotta go with the Eagles at home, man. Fly Eagles, fly, dog. That's my pick today.
Same. I got Eagles at home, pretty much for that reason. I think they're gonna run the ball. You could get a heavy dose of Saquon Barkley. I think Jalen Hurts keeps the mistakes down today, and I think they do catch Trevor Lawrence in some turnovers and making mistakes, and I think that'll be the difference. Playing in Philly. Give me the Eagles at home as well.
All right, all right. The Rams are going to Seahawks. Division game. Late afternoon game today. They about to get it in. Geno Smith. I don't know if DK Metcalf has came back, but it seems like that passing game with Geno Smith, he relies on DK a lot to get the job done. Although he still does got the veteran Tyler Lockett, and I don't know why they be sleeping on Lockett because he's clutch to me. But DK does provide a different for that offense because for some reason Geno's he likes to throw high on his targets, but it gets there to DK. And the Rams have been playing excellent ball. It's just going to be super hard. It's a division game, but look, and it's hard to play in Seattle, a division game. But Matthew Stafford, man, and Cooper Kupp and those guys, and Puka Nuka's back. Puka Nakua's back. I'm going with the Rams going into Seahawks over the Seahawks today, man. That's what I'm doing. That's my pick, the Rams.
I'm doing the same thing. They're getting healthier. Like you said, Cooper Kupp coming back. Puka Nakua playing in that game as well. I think they just got enough offensively to take the Seahawks down in an upset, what would be considered an upset because Seahawks are traditionally tough to play in that 12th man at home, but I think the Rams take them down today.
Yeah, word. Good one. We got a good afternoon game, y'all. The Lions and the Packers. That game is going down. I got to drop a bomb for that one because that game is going to be live. It should be a good one. But I just don't see nobody beating the Lions right now. They're putting up college football numbers on NFL teams. They're just well coached both sides of the ball, all facets of the game, man. The special teams matters in the NFL so much, and they're playing all three phases of the game at a high level in Detroit. You hear me? The Lions. I've always been a fan of the Lions, man. And since Barry Sanders, I'm a short guy. I've always loved the Lions, man. The colors. But look, man, I hope they come out. I hope they make that black jersey a little bit more permanent. I like the black with the silver and blue. That's hard. I just had to throw that in there as a sidebar. But I'm going with the Lions today over the Packers, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on this one, man.
You gotta take Detroit, right?
You gotta take Detroit. So yeah, this is gonna be a very good game. It's even if these teams are not the greatest, it's a rivalry game. It's been some crazy finishes to this game over the years, going all the way back to the Brett Favre days. But yeah, we are playing in Lambeau Field. Always tough to play, but we've had some recent success in Lambeau Field. So yeah, obviously the injury, we still haven't recovered from not having our top defensive player, and probably would have been a defensive player of the year in Aiden Hutchinson. Haven't really generated much pass rush in his absence. So I think that may play a factor, but the rest of the defense has stepped up. The linebackers and secondary have played a lot better in the absence of that pass rush. And then offensively, we know what we've seen from the Lions offensively, some creativity, some explosive plays. We are missing Jamison Williams for this game. He's sitting down for a 2-game suspension. It could be possibly more because he's also got some other off-field stuff shaking here in Detroit. But that's
Yeah.
neither here or there. They, are pretty much they have enough skill position, enough receivers, obviously a stout running game and good tight ends to make up for the absence of Jamison Williams. So give me Detroit in this one, in a close one, but I think Detroit pulls it out over the Pack.
All right, okay. The Colts at the Vikings. I do think the Colts they made the right choice. Benching Anthony Richardson. Should have been able to come in and sit and learn a little bit more behind a veteran quarterback. I think they got the right one there with Joe Flacco. That offense just it looks very much fluent. Had the Colts play Anthony Richardson versus us, the Steelers, we win that game easily. I think. Joe Flacco did beat us, man. Y'all that when y'all get to looking at that on the schedule, the Steelers lost to the Colts. We lost to the Colts with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco will give the Vikings everything they're asking for, but the Vikings are right up there in that NFC North, man, with the Lions, and hold them at a high regard. Sam Darnold's been playing awesome back there. I think they still got their running game absent of Cook. Look, their receivers are getting it done. Addison and Justin Jefferson, he's the best receiver in the NFL, hands down right now. And I think that they beat the Colts at home Vikings.
I'll take the Vikings as well. As you stated, yeah, they got to go with Flacco over what happened last week. What Anthony Richardson, that's just a maturity thing. Hopefully he, learns his lesson and gets back in the fold of things when the time permits. But as of right now, the Vikings are playing really good football. That was a tough game they played against the Lions. They played the Lions really tough, and as always, and as of late, Lions had no answer for Justin Jefferson. So when in doubt, throw the ball up to JJ, let him make a play. I think that'll happen against the Colts. That you're right, their running game is solid. They got Aaron Jones back there, contributing to their running game in the absence of Dalvin Cook. So give me the Vikings in that one as well. They playing solid on defense as well. So I'll take the Vikings.
You out here rhyming. Yeah, when in doubt, throw it to JJ. You can't guard him anyway.
He has had a lot of success against the Lions, and that honestly what keeps them in the game. Almost each and every time they play Detroit, they throw it up to him, and they have the secondary is tremendously improved from last year and recent years, but yet still, when the Lions played the Vikings, he had a monster game because they had no answer for him. So when in doubt, throw it up to JJ.
Yeah, nobody has an answer for Justin Jefferson. He's just that good, I think. Yeah. In my opinion, he's him. He is him.
Yes.
Buccaneers at the Chiefs. This is a remake of that Super Bowl where Tom Brady was able to take down Patrick Mahomes, but Tom Brady is not there with the Buccaneers no more. Mayfield taking the reins over. I think they got some injuries going on. I think Mike Evans, I don't know if he's still out or not. Evans, because he's big target. He's always in the top 10 every year, man. Big ups to Mike Evans because he is in tremendous shape at his age. But he did suffer an injury, I think, when they was playing the Baltimore Ravens. And I think I can't remember if Godwin went down too. So I don't know if they're back or not, but they should be a little bit hobbled. Everybody's a little bruised up this time in the NFL, man. But the Chiefs, they just keep finding ways to win, man. They just don't stop, man. Patrick Mahomes and that team, Andy Reid, they just don't stop. They find a way to win up until they come to Pittsburgh on Christmas. That's when they're going to find out that luck's about to end. But yeah, I think they beat the Buccaneers today. Yeah, I mean, not today, but tomorrow. I'm sorry. That's a Monday night.
Monday night game at 8:15 p.m. So, yeah, give me the Chiefs in that one as well. You are right. Mike Evans is questionable with a hamstring. Those are iffy. And then I believe Chris Godwin, if I'm not mistaken, tore his ACL. I think he has a long-term injury, season-ending injury, if I'm not mistaken, a torn ACL or something like that. But, yeah, even with that, playing the Chiefs at home, Chiefs are rolling. They found a way to get it done. They're not playing exactly – blowing people away and everything like that. But that's what champions do. They find a way to get the win each and every week, week in and week out. And they have an improved roster, with the additions they made, more weapons, as if Patrick Mahomes needed any more weapons. So, give me the Chiefs in that one pretty handily.
All right, all right. What's the lines in the chat for? What did that mean?
That's just the Go Lions, man. That's just Go Lions.
Okay, okay. All right. Let me make sure I put that on the screen then for y'all Lions fans out there. All right, all right. Let me put that up there on the screen for y'all Lions fans out there, man. Hey, I appreciate you coming and kicking with me all show, man. You invited, man. You come up anytime on a Sunday. I have no idea why your avatar ain't on the screen. I've been trying to get it there the whole time, but it's cool because we can still hear. I think we would have needed like another person to join in. For everybody's avatar to be on the screen. I believe
Okay.
so. I believe that's how it works here on or unless maybe yeah, I think yeah, we would have had to have another person on the screen with us in order for it to work the way that it was supposed to. So, but
Okay.
anyhow, nonetheless, y'all still was able to hear Lawrence with a U. That is Lawrence with a U who kicked it with me the whole show. And he done a fantastic job. So give it up to Lawrence for you, y'all, because he came in and did his job. Very professional. Like my Michigan insider, my Detroit Lions insider guy, Lawrence Witter, you came in and done a fantastic job. Off the top, I promise y'all, we did not rehearse this. This just happened so spontaneously. It just came out of the blue. We did not rehearse this. I want to say that. I did not know Lawrence Witter you was gonna come in here and hold it down and light it on fire the way that he did, y'all. So I want to, you know what I mean? Thank you so much, Lawrence, for coming in
No
and
doubt.
helping me hold down the show today, man, and kicking it like that. Shout out to Zion in the chat. Shout out to Jen J in the chat coming through. Shout out to James Hilliard. Shout out to all the viewers out there that stayed around, keep kicking it with us. I said Zion. Shout out to Katie. Shout out to JB. You came through, show love in there. Shout out motivated, dedicated. All my Raw High fam, because I know some of y'all is out there watching and tuning in, even though y'all didn't jump in the chat or anything. I know it. I know y'all there, and I know y'all supporting. So for that, I appreciate that. And I like this, man. I liked it. I thought we did a great job today on the show, man. I didn't plan none of this. And it just came out like the way it is. I came in wanting to talk and recap about college football and some of the games yesterday and do some NFL picks. And look, came out with a damn good ass production today. I think
Sure.
so.
For sure. For
For
sure.
real, man. So shout out, hey, Colorado, man. Shout out to all the Colorado fans out there too, man. I want to say that, man, because you know, Colorado, Dion's went through so much, and just off of me with my criticism of Dion and being wrong on the team. You know what I'm saying? I'm still gonna continue to be a hater because I feel like if I stop being a hater at this point, Colorado goes backwards. Like, and you know what I'm saying, I'm still gonna stand 10 toes on what I feel like. But look, I gotta be honest, they have improved. There's a tough road ahead for them. It's looking better than it was a week ago for them to try to make the Big 12 championship. They still got to win out. Still some other things that happen in there. But I want to shout out to y'all, you know what I'm saying, especially because I know I get a lot of support from the Colorado fans too, even those that's out there that don't like me. You still watch me because you don't like me. So it is what it is. Hey, hey, yo, but I love it, man. Lawrence, man, you got to come through more often, bro. I appreciate it, bro. Got
For
to
sure.
come
We'll
through
do.
more.
We'll do.
All
Absolutely.
right. Make sure y'all got your notification bell set, man. You got social media or anything, man? You want to let the folks plug in with you or anything, man?
Nah, man, I just plug your channel, man. So
All
yeah,
right.
Triple
All
Chubby
right.
and Raw High Media for you. Those where I be most of the time. So
All right, bet. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all support my brother Raw Hide too. And prayers to Raw Hide, man. He's been my bro been sick or something, man. Something he didn't fill me in with everything, but I prayed for him, and I hope that y'all send y'all prayers and y'all good vibes to Raw Hide. Um, man, he gave me a tremendous platform, man. He shot me up, man, and he helped me with my audience, man. So I want to thank you, Rawhide, man. Raw, I really want to thank you for that, bro. Like, and out in public, you know what I'm saying, to let you know how much I really I appreciate what you've done for me and my channel, bro. You know what I'm saying? Giving me an audience to talk to and people, to come through and they rocking with me, So man, the Rawhide really is a good dude. So the best thing you could do in this world when you ain't got no money, nothing left in this world, you got legacy. And how many people and how many men did you help? That's what true king does. A king does not, it's not how much money you got, how much jewels you got around your neck. A king is how many other men have you been able to help? And Rawhide has been able to help a few different men and women out here, man. So for that, I gotta give you the crown, man. You know what I'm saying? It's being the king of YouTube because you really gave me an audience out here, big dog. And I appreciate y'all, man, for that. And I ain't gonna let you down. But look, thank y'all for coming through, kicking it, man, on this Sunday. I want y'all to go enjoy y'all Sunday, NFL Sunday. Kick back today. Go get your brewskis, your cocktails, your blunts, your joints, whatever it is that you enjoy today. And sit back, order your wings, your pizza, your hoagies, whatever you want, subs. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all. I'm up out of here. All right. Peace, man. Another Truck and Chubby production. All right, Lawrence. Appreciate you.